meeting is being recorded.
So I was waiting for it.
All right, you're ready to go.
Thank you. All right, it is 12:15 on January 11th, so I will call this LEOFF 1 Disability Board meeting to order. We have an agenda. Are there any changes?
I move to accept the agenda as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we have an agenda. We have minutes from our October meeting. Same thing, if there's not any changes, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any
No.
opposed?
I'm not sure. I don't think I was there, so I don't think if I'm not there, I shouldn't,
Probably
yeah. So,
So we have one abstention and the motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And on to our business items. City email addresses and advisory board stipend program.
Well, thank you, and we're glad to be here today to talk a little bit about a program that the City Council adopted and we're starting the implementation of here in early 2024. And so part of our plan here today is just to give a brief overview of what the Advisory Board Stipend Program is, to talk about the new city email addresses that some members are getting. Other members have had longstanding city email addresses.
Are we getting new ones?
Well, you all are currently not, but our advisory board members are
Okay.
getting them, so.
Okay.
Melissa, if you want to go to the next slide right here. And then also talk about how this all gets tied together with our civic clerk board portal and using that moving forward. And then finally wrapping up with talking about our demographic survey, which is part of the advisory board stipend program as well. And the one thing I want to walk away leaving you all with is that if you need help or you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Alyssa is going to be fielding all of the questions here moving forward. So reach out to our city clerk. And I did want to actually introduce our city clerk as well, so.
Was Fontaine city clerk? You met all of you?
All right, well, if you want to go to the next slide, Melissa.
All right, so thank you, Shannon. As mentioned, the remaining LEOFF members outside of our council members here are going to be getting some new city issued email addresses. And so I will be reaching out to you all via your personal email addresses to give you that information since you are not here in person today. The new email addresses are for official board communications only. Obviously, emails relating to the conduct of public business are considered public records and are subject to disclosure. So there is no right to privacy in use of the city technology resources, which the email does fall under. So these are being provided to assist members of the LEOFF 1 Disability Board to conduct business and fulfill the functions in their role on the board. They will also be used for civic clerk login. That will be a communication that is forthcoming that will be in the inbox. So we will walk through instructions on that. And then as like Shannon mentioned, login assistance available after the meeting, but also I will be following up with some of our remote members as well.
Great.
So touching on the civic clerk board portal, this board allows board member access only to the meeting materials. So your agenda packet, approved minutes. You can make notes as well for past, previous, and future meetings. The public meeting materials are also available on the public portal. So there is public facing that also provides a live meeting progress. So you are able to join in on a meeting. Future features include electronic roll call and electronic voting, which we will touch more on at a later date. So part of the Civic Clerk Board portal, the meeting login, this will assist staff in our roll call functions, which will tie into our advisory board stipend program that we will be discussing here in a moment. This is done currently by staff on the back end, but we will also be able to have members log in themselves and join a meeting and elect whether they are present and voting. In the future, for members who are logged into the portal, when we do roll out our electronic voting, when a motion is made and seconded and a vote is called for, staff will be able to initiate the electronic voting function, and all members who are logged into the portal will see this on their screen. They will be able to select their vote and save it. We do highly encourage an audible vote as well, so that that can assist in transparency for the public as well as the staff tallying the votes. Any questions so far? All right. So once votes are cast, this is something that is currently being used. So again, this is, board members can participate through the board portal, here in the future once they're logged in, but it is also being done whether they choose to do that or not. We will publicly display all votes, tied into the motion. This displays live during the meeting, as well as if you look at a past meeting where all motions and votes occurred, this will be displayed on the public portal. Board portal also allows you to leave a meeting. You cannot be joined into 2 meetings at once, but it will automatically log you out after 24 hours now. So this is less of a stress at this time. And I'm going to stop my share briefly and log into the portal and just give you all a quick overview of what you can anticipate to see.
You said no emails. I thought we were getting rid of that ci.lacy.wa.us.
So that is forthcoming. I
Oh,
will
is it?
say, we'll be getting an announcement out that in a couple of weeks, if
Oh,
not
okay.
a month or so. Yep.
Good.
And so the new board members are actually getting those, the new
The new
formats.
format?
Yep.
Oh,
And we'll be transitioning the entire organization, including your email addresses, which are already there. So people could send information to those email addresses right now,
Oh,
and you
really?
would still receive them.
oh, didn't even know I had another email address.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so the transition will be seamless on kind of organizational side.
Oh, okay.
We'll continue to receive emails from both addresses, but the idea being that moving forward, when we're doing outreach and engagement, we give the new email addresses
okay.
rather than the old ones.
But if someone uses the old one, it'll still work?
Correct.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
All right, so we are looking at the board portal right now. For LEOFF one members, this is actually, you will only see your meetings. So council members, you will be able to see all meetings that you are attached to as a member. I am looking at everything just due to my permission settings, but for our meeting today, the board portal, this is the not the public facing side, but it's unique to the board. You can view your agenda, the packet, and scroll through and follow along as you go through each agenda item. The attachments are included, as well as an area where you can provide notes and annotations. These are not private, although it does say that right here. This is something that is for public use only. They are disclosable and should only contain your professional notes in accordance with your role on the board. Agenda details, again, it will just let you go through all the meeting materials, but you will be able to collectively see all agendas for the LEOFF one meeting here on the dashboard. Media, there's a ribbon down here on the bottom that we are going to, here we are, to toggle through. Same viewpoint for all approved minutes. So these are just uploaded minutes that have been approved only. As well as the media, which will open up a live stream, as well as the saved version for past meetings. Briefly get out of there. Shit, there we go.
Just so you know, for those of you who haven't used it, we on council have been using it for several months now. And it's really very simple once you get a little bit of help getting logged in and know how to do it. After that, it's super easy to use. Because I'm as technologically deficient as anyone can, and I can use it. So.
And we are always happy to assist at any time. So
Very thorough instructions. So are there any questions on the board portal before we move on?
I would say the only thing I figured out was when I was under an agenda item is if you hit that little X instead of hitting the agenda button, because it takes you all the way back to, then I thought I was on the same agenda. and I was on one a couple months earlier. It was weird, and I was like, but that's because I was hitting the agenda. It was weird. So once I saw the little X, it was way easier. So
My problem was I forgot to leave the meeting and it didn't used to.
It didn't used to
Now
log
you
you out.
actually, it pushes you out after a day, but trying to get into a meeting, I'm like, it won't let me in my meeting. Already in another meeting.
They're updating, they're catching up.
There's a learning curve.
it was probably because I was logged in to and so it took me back to the last meeting I was at. So,
And like these issues that are identified, if you come across things, we'd love to know because we have been sending civic clerk all of our feedback as well, and they've been making changes like, hey, let's let people log out after 24 hours automatically. So we're happy to take that feedback. Like Alyssa mentioned, one of the great benefits of the board portal is, not only having all of your materials in one place, but it's also going to be helping us launch the advisory board stipend program. So every time you join a meeting, that will trigger the database to record that you were there, and whether you're doing it or the staff liaison is doing that, we now have that record. And so we'll be able to pull that data pretty seamlessly when we run quarterly our payments, or even more frequently as kind of we figure out what our flow is, and get that to finance so that people who do opt into this program will receive their stipend. So it'll really help us, rather than having to go down and track out everybody's minutes and see who was there, who wasn't there. So it's going to be a real help for us. So I just wanted to give a little background on the advisory board stipend program. So this is a program that I know our council members are very well aware of since they adopted the program. And so I just wanted to give a high level overview for everybody else. So the program is really designed to offset any incurred expenses for participating on city advisory boards. And some examples include travel, internet, childcare, et cetera. And, one of the things that we found when we were looking at this program was that sometimes these types of expenses can present barriers for people wanting to participate on advisory boards. And while they're going to be receiving a stipend if they opt into the program, importantly, they remain volunteers and they're not employees of the city. When we were doing some research on this, we kind of drafted up and looked at 3 different community members. And what the top box shows is kind of, the community member's background. So I'll run through community member number 1. They're retired, they have no children at home, they own a vehicle. And so they have significant discretionary time. They don't require childcare, and they have that vehicle. So getting to meetings is only about 10 minutes. So when you take in a meeting time of about 90 minutes and a travel time of 20 to and back, their expenditure is really their time and their gas. So $3 in gas. So community member 1, their total expenditure on time is that hour and 40 minutes, and then the $3. When we look at community member 2 as another example, they're in the workforce and they have children under 5, they're a single parent and they're a vehicle owner, they might have much less discretionary time than our community member number 1, and they might also need childcare in order to attend these meetings. They have a vehicle, so the meeting time and the travel time doesn't really change, the gas doesn't change, but the childcare is the big item. So when we're looking at that potential community member, you can see that they expend the same amount of time, but the total cost to participate is significantly higher at $53. Listen, you want to go on to the next slide? So this program, the way it's designed by policy adopted by the city council, is for the city's advisory boards. So this will be available for members of the Parks, Culture and Recreation Board, the Civil Service Commission, the Commission on Equity, the Historical Commission, this board, the Library Board, the Planning Commission, the Youth Council, the Lodging Tax Committee, as well as any other ad hoc advisory boards or task force created by the Lacey City Council. The way the program works is that you need to opt in to the program in order to receive the stipend. So we will have sent a opt-in request to the email addresses that we just set up for you all. So you'll see that the moment you log into those new email addresses, and you'll want to fill that out as to whether you want to opt in or opt out of the program. This is something that advisory board members will be asked to do on an annual basis. And if they opt in, they will receive a $50 stipend per every meeting attended by those advisory board members at those advisory bodies. So if there are other events outside of meetings, those don't count for this program. It is just the advisory body meetings. In totality, no advisory board member can receive more than $500 annually, and this is in a calendar year running from January to December. And the city is going to disperse those stipends at least 4 times a year, but we're hoping to get it much more frequent as we work out the process with finance, and especially with us being able to pull that data from Civic Clerk. I do want to mention, though, that stipends will need to follow all relevant tax requirements. The program itself does not apply to our regional advisory boards. It also does not apply to our council members, as well as any city employees who might be serving on advisory boards. As part of this program, we are going to be annually reporting to the Lacey City Council on the impacts of the program. So right now we're going around and doing the roadshow with all of our advisory boards and telling them about this program. And we're hoping to have everybody opt in or opt out by the end of February. So that way we can get back in front of council and tell them kind of what that looked like, what that rate was of participation. And then annually get back in front of the council and tell them more about the impacts of the program, provided that it is budgeted in future years. And we're working very closely with the clerk's office as well as the finance department to make sure that we are implementing this program.
All right, so what to expect? Shannon mentioned that obviously we have a new city issued email addresses, and sitting in the inboxes as of 11 o'clock today, we have our opt-in request form. So here's a preview of what you will see. It will come through our smart sheet form, but through my name. So you'll see both indicated within the inbox. To open the request, you will immediately see a form to fill out. We've got 2 selections that are required to fill out. The drop down will be to either opt in or opt out, so we know your selection. And then if opting in, to accept the terms of the program. Your contact information is going to be populated there, so it's an opportunity to correct any information we currently have. If everything looks correct and it doesn't need to change, you are able to just leave it there. You're able to send a copy of your responses to yourself, should there be any questions or follow-up that you need to connect with staff on. Once all of those fields are confirmed, you can submit the update. And if you are opting in, the message will confirm your choice to opt in and let you know that an additional email with electronic payment information will be coming from PaymentWorks. Our finance department uses a separate platform to verify individuals receiving electronic payments. So this is an additional correspondence that will be coming at a future date once finance has everybody's opt-in information and issues that email. And as always, if there is any questions, my contact information is scattered throughout the correspondence, so please reach out. Again, trusted communications, smart sheet. This is how we communicate sending the forms through the city clerk's office. And then PaymentWorks is our finance department program, and this will only be for opt-in members to the program.
And so the last part of this program is also doing a demographic survey, which most of the fields in this survey are optional. But it would really help us understand kind of, what the makeup of our advisory boards are currently, and to see if there are potentially any long-term, impacts of offering an advisory board stipend program. And the reason why we're talking about impacts is that we're going to use this information to identify if there's any missing perspectives or gaps in perspectives in the community, and to use this information to help improve our outreach and engagement for future recruitments. I do want to make it very clear that any decision-making, this information would not be part of that process. It would really just be for the city manager's office and the city clerk's office to really hone in on how we do our outreach for our active recruitments. So on how we'll use it, that's the one way we'll be using it. And we'll also be protecting it in so much as you'll have received 2 different surveys from Smartsheet. One is going to be, do you want to opt in? And the other one is going to be the demographic survey. And they are not connected in any way, shape, or form. So they are saved completely separate. There's no names associated with the demographic survey. And so we really wanted to strip away any personal identifiable data from that demographic survey, knowing that sometimes this can be sensitive. And then we'll use that data and aggregate it and compare it against kind of the national, state, and local information, really against the local, just to see, you know, representation comparative to our community. And looks like we got that one covered. And so the questions that are asked in the demographic survey are going to be age, race, ethnic identity, languages spoken at home other than English, ability, annual income, home ownership, gender identity, sexual orientation, highest levels of education, and veteran status. And every one of these questions is optional, so individuals can fill out what they would like to fill out as part of the survey. So like the advisory board stipend program, this would be a survey that would be sent out annually to all of our advisory board members, so we can track this longitudinally over time. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions about the program or the survey.
I just want our committee to know that I didn't support this because I think volunteerism is exactly that. You shouldn't be paid for it. You should be giving of your time and back to your community. But I did like the part where it people that wouldn't normally be able to serve, like youth. And that's what I supported. If anyone got paid, should be youth, because, you know, going to school is your job. You know what I mean? And they don't have a lot of money. A lot of times they don't have vehicles or can't afford insurance, whatever. And that it put people that wouldn't normally be able to serve in a service capacity and for the city. But I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way. But that if I was going to support it, it would be for those reasons. I just want you guys to know that.
And the bottom line is, it's been adopted by council. You're both eligible, so totally up to you. And that's a personal decision that you get to make, and it'll all be private and done through that process that they've described.
And that's applicable to the citizen appointee that
Yes,
sits on our board?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's anyone other than council members and staff.
Right. And will he be notified about this? And
Yeah, it'll get notified separately.
yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anything else on that? Any questions or anything? Nope.
The one other part I wanted to add to is, especially with bus fare being no cost, free. I don't like the word free because something always has a cost with the service, but but again, you know, people like meeting a demographic. We don't need all of, you know, the same kind of person or the same kind of income level or, you know, cookie cutter thing. We need the whole community represented on every board and committee and commission that we have. So it's a personal thing. I just wanted you guys to know where I stood on it. So.
Okay, we'll move on to the next item, which is review and approval of LEOFF 1 claims.
All right, so since the last time that we met on October 12th, thank you both. We had a few claims come in. All of them were under the threshold that I was awarded from the board. The first claim that we had was from November 30th. And it was for $564.93 for dental premiums. On the 30th, I also received a claim for $745.56 for dental premiums. And then also on the 30th, I received a claim for $1,360 for massage therapy. And that was over an extended period of time. And then on December 12th, I received a claim for $1,461.60 for Medicare premiums. And that was it.
And that doesn't need any action because that was all under the level, right?
Just unless anybody has any questions on those.
Nope.
I don't.
All right, then we'll move on to other business. There is no members of the public, so no public comment. Anything for the good of the order?
I did.
No, just reflecting back on what Michael said there about our departments reflecting the diversity of our community. And I'm sure there's some tracking going on, and of course pertaining specifically to the police department. And, you know, are we reflecting our diversity in the police department with the community. When
Ed,
it
we
comes
get
to,
reports on that annually, actually, on the diversity of the police department and how
Yeah.
it reflects our community. The chief actually reports out on that every year to us. And it's incredible how closely our police department mimics our population of our city.
Mhm.
well, thank you.
It's really,
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
the most diverse city in the county, and our police department is also the most diverse, and it matches really well with the demographics of our city.
It's nice to hear. Yeah. No questions here.
Okay, anything for the good of the order?
I would just say it's a couple days late, but happy Law Enforcement Appreciation Day.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. You hung your hat up a while ago, but it made all the difference when you're working, and make all the difference today too, because it follows you in your everyday life. So
Well, the work you guys did is the reason our police, it set the stage for the police department to be where it is today. I mean, we have, in my opinion, and I think in most people's opinion, the most professional, best police department in South Sound. And I don't think
Totally
there's
agree.
any
Yeah.
real argument to that
Yep.
from anybody that I've heard. And the new police station is gonna be incredible. And this new training facility, the fact that we were able to, we knew we were gonna spend a fortune of money, because things just aren't cheap to build, right? But when we were able to, for the 60 million we thought we were gonna spend for the police department, be able to fully build out the training facility as well, was just amazing, because that's gonna be a great public asset. Not just for Lacey, but for all the departments around here for training purposes. The gun range and everything else, it's gonna be awesome.
Well, and
You
the
guys
fact
have
that
to check it out when it's done.
these agencies are helping financially because it's a regional training is good.
Well, we hope they will.
Yeah, we hope so.
None of that's committed yet, so we're,
Oh, is that right?
right now,
No,
it's all on the Lacey dime. We got no help yet,
Oh.
but we have faith that they will.
So Lenny, I recall when our police department was this modular building across the parking lot there for City Hall. And then our police officers back in the day made phone calls, went door to door to get the addition on this current City Hall you're in now
Oh, wow.
for the police department that's there now. And it went out for a vote and it went through because of the efforts of the cops back in the day.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people remember that or not, but Bob, do you remember that?
I remember when I was hired, left the sheriff's office, come to Lacey, that we were in a old 2-story house with a basement.
Oh, that's right. You were there
And
then.
City Hall had the nice modular building around back,
well, I
where the
think
fire
people
department
do-
was located.
I think people do remember, because there was discussion that we might have to go out for bond or levy for this, and the support was there, guys, and it starts with you guys and it ends with the present day. But it's there because people, they recognize responsibility and doing the right thing, and it's really community driven, and that's what this department's been the whole entire time. So firefighters too.
I had the pleasure about a year and a half, 2 years ago now, of giving tours to the public of the current police station during Cops, Cars and Kids event that we do. And I can tell you, every person that saw it said, can I write a check to help you build a new police station?
Well, back in the day when,
That place is in some rough conditions right now.
so when
It's
John
desperately
Mansfield was
needed.
hired as the chief back in the day by Williams, who was the city manager, well, Mansfield immediately started doing tours of that modular building to show people and council what was needed. Well, that helped propel it through, and the rest is history.
Awesome. All
Yeah.
right. Well, if nothing else, I'll see you all at the next Left One meeting. Thank you both.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Call this meeting adjourned.
12:44. All right, well, thank you both for coming down.
Of course. Have to check with that. I don't know why he